What's going on, guys? So, I have not spoken to you like this in a long time. Just a lot on my mind these days. Looking at everything that's going on in Israel, looking at everything that's going on in America, this whole Trump situation. You know, guys, I feel like, you know, this force, the Sitracha is pushing, and it's about to get, you know, the Sitracha doesn't have any of its own power, right? It derives power from our averot, from our, so to speak. I can't use the word sins. I can only say missing the mark, you know? And so the more we miss the mark, the more the Sitracha derives its power from that, from all that activity. And I feel like this has been happening in Israel and America. You know, I had a guy today, he was saying, some Israeli guy, he lives in Ramat Gan, and he goes, you know, every city should have its own, you know, kind of policies and laws. Every city in Israel, right? So in Tel Aviv, this should be allowed, and in Jerusalem, this should not be allowed. And I'm like, well, if you're genuine, then you don't want a, you know, fruitcake parade in Jerusalem. He's like, no, we should have a parade, just that it should be more modest. I'm like, what do you mean more modest? What? We shouldn't have a certain paraphernalia or what? Just the fact that a person wants this kind of parade in Jerusalem already says something, guys, you know? That's already a separate point, but we understand that the Sitracha is pushing. Even in Jerusalem, we have people, you know, who have the audacity to bring certain things to the holiest city in the world. But that's just a symptom, just the fact that they have the audacity is a symptom of what we're doing, you know, of how Klal Yisrael is, of how Klal Yisrael is doing, of how Klal Yisrael is behaving as a whole, of how the world really is behaving as a whole. But the world is behaving that way because we're behaving a certain way. All the while, we're getting pissed off about anti-Semitism, and we're, you know, making billboards on the road, "A Jew belong," you know, 75 years from the Holocaust. You know, that's why we're so crazy about Jew hatred. Really? We're crazy about Jew hatred. Meanwhile, you know, do we do mitzvahs? Do we do Shabbos? Do we do this, that, and the other? You know, and we're giving our enemies carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want? Guys, I mean, and then we ask the question, why is the world the way that it is? But, you know, guys, I've been thinking about this, you know, this whole thing with Israel and America, and honestly, it's not just in the political sphere. You know, I'm, especially recently, I'm feeling this energy that a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff. You know, it seems to me, and I include myself in this, but, you know, there's just varying degrees of it, right? There's people who are aware of it, there's people who are not aware of it, where there's people's neshamas, right? There's people's souls that feel certain things on a certain level, and there seems to be a disconnect between their souls, or you could say their subconscious, and their brain. And even their brain has, you know, kind of two directions where people are taken in two different directions by their brain. One part of the brain says, oh, I got to do this, and I'm connecting to what my soul wants and what Hashem wants, versus, you know, what they call the reptilian brain and going somewhere else, right? And honestly, guys, this is who is running. This is why the people who are running, so to speak, the show, who are in power, are able to do this, because our neshamas are not, a lot of people, there's a lot of people walking around whose neshamas are not connected to, you know, their brain, and vice versa. And it seems like we're doing things on autopilot, and then it's almost as if we're watching ourselves from the outside. You know, we're stepping outside, we're having like literally like an out-of-body experience, and we're watching ourselves do this, and then after the fact, we feel embarrassed. That's the Yetzer Hara, right? And we're asking ourselves, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. You know, why did I do that? How could I possibly do that? You know, why did I allow this to happen? Why did I cause this? Why did I react this way? Why am I doing this thing? and it's so many people, guys, and a lot of people are walking around. I don't want to use the term undiagnosed, but I'm going to say a lot of people are just walking around, and honestly, guys, they are highly functioning, right, on a day-to-day basis. They hold jobs, they help other people, they raise families, but and they're coping with stuff. Other people are coping with them, with the fallout from their stuff. And guys, I mean, it just seems like it's a lot of people, and frankly, oftentimes there's no way to really tell otherwise. You can't really tell the difference between them and a person who has kind of more or less, has their mental health all in good standing. There's really sometimes no way to tell the difference. A lot of people are good at hiding it. Again, it's the walking wounded, and yeah, guys, and it's something that I'm just, noticing this more and more, and I see that everything that we see on the public, political stage is just a manifestation of that, where people are, for example, you guys see like the leftists, right? They accuse others of what they are. Guys, what is that? That's gaslighting. That's narcissism, right? They are X, they accuse others of being X. I mean, like, you know what I mean? And you're watching this, right? Anybody who's astute enough to see that, like, the media is basically feeding into it and basically feeding people lies can see it, right? And we feel like we're watching some sort of, it's like we put the pieces of the puzzle together. If you guys ever seen the movie Usual Suspects, I mentioned this before, where the detective at the end, starts seeing like everything that Kevin Spacey was saying, and he realizes, oh my God, and he realizes what's what. But by then it's too late, So yeah, guys, I feel like we're watching this in real time, and then, let's say half of us, or a little bit more than half of us, see what's going on. There's a few of us who don't. We think we do, they think they do, but they don't. And I don't know, guys. I don't know how to get out of it, except the only maybe solution is spirituality. Some kind of mass spiritual movement. And even then, by the way, guys, even then, people can take spirituality, people can take, so to speak, the corpus or the mechanical part of the religion and weaponize it and use it as a vehicle also to do damage, right? We've seen it. Doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, whatever it is. Yeah, guys, I don't know. It's kind of been a stream of consciousness video, and maybe I haven't been so coherent, but I think you guys hopefully get the general point of what I'm trying to convey. And I don't know, it's just been something that I've been intuiting really before even thinking about it, right? And it's kind of difficult to put into words because you kind of see it all happening kind of like in a big picture way. You see the pieces of the puzzle, and it's hard to just kind of like, put it succinctly, As we know, guys, we have guys like Jordan Peterson who are able to kind of verbalize it. My friend Frank is very good at verbalizing it from kind of a Jewish perspective. I see the picture in my head, and oftentimes the words don't come out like the picture that's in my head. You know what I mean? But I can assure you that whatever I see, I mean, you guys can imagine that you kind of will strain a little bit to understand what I just said, but you probably, in the end, will probably have the same sentiment. That you see that there's something wrong here, right? There's some kind of energy swirling around, and the people who are doing not such nice things around the world, the so-called leaders, have capitalized on this energy, right? The energy is caused by us. It's not by them, it's by us. All they're doing is filling the they're capitalizing on. They're filling the vacuum, as it were, because nature abhors a vacuum, right? A spiritual vacuum, so to speak, any kind of vacuum. So, but yeah, guys, these things we saw it happen in Israel on Tisha B'Av, or the week of Tisha B'Av. We saw it happening in You know, we see it happening now with all these trials. And it's almost like these people, you guys see, like these people don't realize that all this stuff is about to come back at them in the face, right? They don't realize that, like, okay, you have to go to trial and you have to do discovery. And once you do discovery, take a guess what you're going to discover. You know what I mean? It's going to be, it's going to come back in their face, guys. It's going to come back in their face, in the Sitra Achra people, you know? And, I don't know, guys. Sometimes it might take for all of us to wake up from our kind of, so to speak, stupor and state of non-awareness. It takes something like, you know, what I call a Shvirat HaKelim event, you know, a breaking of the vessels. Something, every once in a while, something shocking happens. You know, guys, like, we have our own stuff in our own lives that something shocking happens, and it's almost like Hashem brings us to those moments because He wants us to learn a lesson. We can say, oh my God, you know, this is so painful, why did this happen? But He wants us to learn a lesson. He also wants us to awaken us in a positive sense. So, you know, so there's like I want to say trauma, but there's like the temporary kind of, you know, pain, but also an elevation, right? So yeah, guys, I don't know. I feel like we're on the precipice of something. Whether it's here in America and in Israel, the rest of the world, we're on the precipice of something. And again, guys, all we have to do is hold tight. When I say hold tight, I'm talking about spiritually, psychologically, emotionally. A lot of people are going through it. Sometimes it manifests in just, you know, kind of regular relationships, so to speak. Sometimes it manifests itself in, you know, God forbid, people ending up in, I don't know, behind bars or whatever, right? Or worse, Chas v'shalom. So anyway, guys, we should all be healthy. I feel like that's the most important thing at the moment. And once we get that right, then what happens is we can see the truth, right? And we're not going to be led down dark paths by the people that are so-called leaders. You know, we'll wake up. We'll just wake up. B'ezrat Hashem. Anyway, guys, all right. Hopefully, whatever I just blurted out for the past probably 9 or 10 minutes or 12 minutes was understood. And if you guys don't understand something, leave a comment in the you know, comment section, and yeah, you know, we'll chat. All right, guys. Today was the yortzeit of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's father, and so tonight we're gonna farbring, and you know, very soon is gonna be Elul. I think next week is gonna be already Rosh Chodesh Elul. Ani l'dodi v'ledodi li. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. You could say the Jewish people in Hashem. You could say somebody you love, and they love you. And B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to elevate. All right, guys.